a chair here. It's gonna be a long stuff.
I think we should just start.
Just be careful.
This is the major assignment one, the video recording. So we gonna start by talk about the readings, assigned readings. So I think they're assigned to this course because they all focus on the identity, cultural, communication, power, and the perspective, which are essential themes like in a course of rhetoric, positionality, intersectionality, and the social identity. And why was the Medu Nefar that was the assigned? The reading introduced like a non-Western approach of rhetoric instead of seeing rhetoric only as a persuasion. The article explained that ancient Egypt's viewed communication as a way of create balance, justice, harmony, like the matzah, and community, and emphasize listening, self-reflection, ethical speech, and respect for multiple perspectives. Anybody want to add?
So I feel the reading gave a good background information for the history of rhetoric, especially the rhetorical triangle that separates the speaker, the audience, and the context. They did believe that the primacy of speech is one uniquely human quality, and I guess we all can relate to that because from what we know, only humans can talk. So it's nice that they drew some uniqueness from there as it just being only a human quality.
I also think that the Meduna 4 that helps the students understand like the rhetorical, like the exists in different cultures, not only in the Greek, like mostly they only focus like, we know that in the Greek culture they have the rhetorical like talk like things, and it helps like learn how communication can promote justice, and also explore the relationship between the language, identity, culture, and the values.
As far as media literacy, they did believe that there was context in listening and hearing when it came to media literacy. So it was just as important to dissect the information you were hearing as much as the information that you were putting out. They do quote here that humans can use their speech to impose or restore order into chaos and relationships with one another and with the natural environment, which ultimately just speaks into that reference.
For me, and I don't know if anybody else saw this, I found that later when I learned more about pathos, ethos, and logos, I found that when the Greeks related with language, it was more towards the ethos and logos side, And when the Egyptians did it, it was more towards the pathos, emotional, how they viewed it more deeper than the Greeks would. Especially when it came to listening.
I don't know if anyone also realized this. I'll be to answer yours, whether we found it on. Because was it a question or is something that you want to put across?
No, that's what I wanted to put across.
Okay. I also found out that the rhetoric and the philosophers had a complicated relationship, such that sometimes you see each other supporting themselves, and sometimes you see each other competing among themselves. I don't know whether you realize that.
Yes.
And I also have a question. I don't know if anyone could answer. Was there any contradictory relationship?
In the reading?
Yeah.
Like
between the
Which
which reading? Yeah, between the philosophers and the rhetoric.
what do you mean,
Like between the two
Yeah.
articles that we've read so
Yeah.
far? Oh,
well, the two articles, one of them is speaking about identity and yourself.
yeah. I was gonna say the complexity of identity is specifically trying to make you think and question more deeply about yourself so you can have a further understanding of yourself.
Yes.
While the first one is more going over just kind of like the history and understanding of ethos, pathos, logos, and different like areas of study and all that, different like ethnicities, different backgrounds and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say that there probably would be a good portion, not a good portion, but a couple contrasting things in those.
Yes.
But that's also because you're speaking, like what you were saying, you noticed that the Greeks were more of, you went towards more like logic than they did for like emotion and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would say, yeah, definitely you would see some contrasts between that. Because
Yeah.
you're speaking of the Egyptians who were more of like, I guess, emotional thinkers. They were more emotional thinkers. They more thought about how something would affect not only themselves but everybody around them.
Mm-hmm.
While the Greeks were more just trying to be these philosophers, scholars almost.
Yeah. They kind of just posed a question on like the whole communication model, I guess, in itself, like what motivates us to want to communicate, why do we communicate, where do we get the information that we do, what motivates us to talk about the information that we do, like what the whole history behind that, and all that's just pretty much, like you said, made up of who are we as a person, what influences us, what impacts or traumas we have on our life that guides us to,
Be who you are,
Yeah.
seek
Yeah.
what you seek.
what
No.
makes us, watch the videos that we want to watch or read the things that we want to read,
Yes.
write the papers that we decide to write based on what research assignment,
Mm-hmm. Now, if we're talking more of like the terminology, I would say like a lot of the terminology we have used in both of them. So like how I related ethos, pathos, and logos in the Medu Nefer, it could still be related in the complexity of who I am, because the author also in the complexity of who I am adds a statement of themselves and of another writer, which is it for me, it made me very emotional in a way. It made me very angry for these people that I don't know, because they were experiencing such injustice.
for the complexity of the intimacy. I feel like the authors say there's a statement that says other people are the mirror in which we see ourselves. It's like people sometimes trapping there who they are, but forget about how their environment around him or herself or her can affect it. Not during the younger age, probably life goes on, lifelong effect.
That's true. Guess we should, in general, explain that we are speaking about our mbongis. And for me, the definition that I got for mbongi is of African origin, specifically from Congo culture. Refers to a traditional gathering place where important community discussions, ceremonies, and judicial proceedings take place. For this one, I had to look up different meanings because I wanted to understand mbongi fully. I didn't understand it at first. I understand we gather and we talk about what we find important, but that's all I got at first. But when I started looking into it deeper and I actually looked at other people's mbongis and their gatherings, it made a clear understanding that they were actually trying to get you to participate and fully understand what they are talking about. I got information from Source Wisdom Library, meaning of the name mbongi, and Source ABPSI, which is Association of Black Psychologists.
I will say I kind of already knew what mbongi was before he even kind of explained it. Only because when I was a kid, we used to have mbongis, and I knew it meant coming together when I was in camp, but I didn't know the whole where it really came from. I just knew it was kind of a discussion time during camp. So I knew a little bit about mbongi, but didn't know exactly. So I was kind of okay.
That's really interesting. Anybody else want to add on mbongis?
So I think it actually talks about togetherness in terms of how a whole community, you look in the perspective that it's not individualism, the whole community is seen to be the first. In Ghana, because most of the research is coming also from Ghana, we have something prior ebomono ubua imbu. What it literally means that when a broom is together, breaking it becomes hard. But when you single it out, it is weak because you can easily break it. And again, the mbongi also talk about collective wisdom, in as such that the solution is emerged not from individual, but from the best solution is made from group, so that as we contribute and we suggest we could take the best out of it. Okay, and I could also talk about inclusiveness, that actually means that when everyone is included, we could value everyone, that we don't sideline anyone, that someone is not important or something like that. So when we come as a community, we come in group. So I think that is what also mbongi literally means in terms of togetherness, in terms of community.
That's good. I like the room and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else want to add on? If not, if we feel like we can move on to communication among, I believe it's communication model, then we can move on.
Let's see.
And then we all know for a communication model, it's the sender, the channel, message, and then the receiver.
Yes.
Right.
And then we all know the model is simple, but humans are complicated. We're all very complex.
Saw how you the sender receiver decodes the information and how they, you know, put it back out there.
Yeah, just like he said, like when the message goes to a certain person, its decoding will be like different. Like words without saying out is like hard to understand it. It has like different meanings. Like if you don't know the other person that sends you the message is like yelling or
Yeah.
like just like talk like normally, try to persuade like a sentence.
Like when we send the message and it's in all caps and people are just like, "Oh, you're yelling at me."
Yeah.
And in Africa, most of the times the encoding is usually in symbols. They are, especially the Egyptians, when they go to war and they want to communicate what is happening there, they could write it on a mountain or something of those, or showing that this is what you're going to see. If you get to the war, this is how you should prepare yourself, which actually would not communicate the same way to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the encoding is apart from words, is symbols, is image, and is gestures. Yeah.
Kind of relate the symbols and stuff to like modern day emojis. How it's easier, like if you were to like send a text and then be like happy face or something like that, to kind of express that you're not upset or something.
Yeah.
But sometimes the smiley face like it means different.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Or they
too,
like
is that,
got the
now they
smug
don't mean the
face
same
now.
thing. Yeah, the smug
Like
face.
careless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like using the one with the big eyes.
Yeah, there is this, during the psychology class, we realize Amazon is using this kind of symbol. Is it Amazon or?
the sender. Yeah, Amazon does
Yeah.
the sending
So,
symbol.
and when we turn the symbol in that way, so it means like it's a frowning face or something like that. So,
That's true.
yeah, so.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting that.
Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the smiley face.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the
But
smirk.
when you turn it the other way,
It looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
welcome.
Anything else to add on that?
I feel like this kind of connect to the readings that the Medunafar and the complex ability, because like for the Medunafar reading, it both like emphasize the importance of effective and ethical communication, and for the complex identity, it just like you said, people may like encode and decode the message like different ways based on the experiences.
Like, for example, when I said that it made me feel a certain way about the complexity of who I am, it made me feel very angry for these people and the injustice they face. Other people might not feel that way. Other people might feel like, oh, they deserve it, or they don't deserve anything. That's a big thing that goes on.
I was going to say that's why that the rhetorical triangle ties. I feel like we all just kind of speak pathologically. Like we all want to connect to whoever we're speaking to, and kind of play on their feelings in a way that they can be on our side. Because even through all the communication, like even manifestation, like even when we're talking to nobody, we want to speak positive things because we feel like all that stuff plays a part.
So I think mine would be probably a question. Within this model, which one do you think is a proof that the model actually works? Which of them is a proof that is it at the sender face or encoding or the feedback, or
What do you mean, like looking up, or
you're looking at the model?
like
Okay, let me answer it. Probably I read somewhere that for us to know that the model really worked effectively was the feedback that the receiver gives, okay, at the end of the process. Okay, I don't know whether you understand it.
I'm not sure. I feel like within this, if you're talking about more so in class, like when we do these, I feel like in that instance, the sender would be the videos or the articles that we watch. It would also be our professor, you know, relaying the information. Now, the message would be however we want to take it. If we want to take it as, oh, interesting information, positive information, or
most importantly, the response that we give.
yes,
Probably, yeah, we understand it, and how we demonstrate our understanding. I think
yes,
that is all that I wanted to say. How if the model we could say the model is effective, then the main context would be how the receiver receive it or give a feedback to whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Okay. One of my favorite ones that we looked up in the first mbongi that we taught was the Dunning-Kruger effect. I liked how the video like literally started that we are all awful. So from the basis of the video, I would write down the information in all caps. How good are you at evaluating yourself? Because, you know, we all want to be the best, and sometimes we all believe we're the best. We overestimate our own abilities. The Dunning-Kruger effect was also viewed or came into process in 1999, but we all know that it's gone on for centuries. There was a quote in there that said, when arguing with a fool, make sure the other person isn't doing the same thing. So make sure that you're not also making the same mistake. Like, I believe that's also why we don't need to act better than everybody else, because there's always something that we're not gonna know.
I do like when they do the studies and the surveys, because I always like to tie like the topics to some like real life numbers, and I feel like statistics is the best way to do that. And I like how in the video they did the study that most drivers believe that they're better than everyone else. Even though we drive every day, we're like, oh, you don't know how the hell to drive, or you don't know how the hell to drive, but everyone's probably saying the same thing about us when they're behind us or on the wheel.
That's true.
So I like how it tied into that, because you'll have people that only been driving maybe like 1 or 2 years that been like, get out the road.
Yeah.
So they'll have like all this confidence and swear they know how to drive. But in actuality, the expert drivers are usually the people that are slower and driving more carefully.
Yeah.
They've driven long enough and know how, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Different
driving there
situations.
fast, isn't always the best choice.
Especially when there's wind.
So yeah, it's all about finding that balance. And I remember we were talking as well. It was the more knowledge is the less holes in our incompetence. And you know, if we're unskilled and unaware of it and recognize our own incompetencies, then there's no room for more knowledge.
That is true. I think that one honestly plays a part in, what was it? There's no room for more knowledge.
I would say it really ties into the who am I as well. Because now, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect really makes you question your own identity, yeah.
I believe it was also one of our terms that I felt it also connected to, which was trying to find it. anti-intellectualism.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that plays the Dunning-Kruger effect and the anti-intellectualism. I believe those two morph together in a way. Just because, you know, there are some people that think they're way higher than everybody and they don't want to learn more.
Yeah, I was watching this one video. It was for intellectualism, and they were saying how intellectualism actually is on the rise right now. Like, most people will rather prove an expert wrong rather than just acknowledging all the facts
Just
about
take it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like their goal is to you know what I mean? Like, the poke holes in clear evidence of an expert, someone that's gone to college, is a trend right now of intellectualism, as opposed to just, you know, back in the day, these people went to school, learned so many things, and became experts, and now we have people just because they have a phone. Oh, well, no, because
Google says this.
Google says this, and this person's wrong. So, yeah.
Our next one was for find and write information on history of rhetoric. For the video that we had on that one, it stated a lot of persuasive techniques, which is ethos, pathos, and logos. And for ethos, we got that it guides us. There's trust, respect, and credibility within. And pathos was human experience, emotion, passion, imagination. By human experience, I mean basically like a situation or something that happened to you is explained either verbally or written. And then logos is the logic, the reason, and the evidence. But these, I do believe, are very effective for our communication, whether it's bad communication or good communication.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything else. I was going to say something, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Toni Morrison.
I got one more for the
History?
yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to define like immediately rhetoric. In the video, it states that rhetoric is the art of persuasion, persuasive communication. I'm sorry. Basically, an influence on your thoughts. Okay, now it's one more.
I guess for Toni Morrison, I did see that she was one of the first Nobel Prize winners of literature, which I thought was pretty cool. I do know of some of her books. I did remember hearing about her time and time, like just knowing her name in so many books. But other than that, I didn't really have too much on her, other than the Nobel Prize stuff in literature. I don't know if anyone else has something like that. I know she's a Pisces, which was,
She's a Pisces?
yeah, we got that in common. I was like, that's pretty cool. Which I always feel like, you know, I feel like that group project we did with Astrology Dude with Dr. Dakota Tyler, I just kind of did a deep dive into astrology. So I do feel like some of that stuff does tie into human, like who we hang around and who we click with, and I feel like all that's part of rhetoric, because I feel like certain astrological signs persuade information or convey information in different ways, you know. So, because I know I have a cousin that's an Aries, and the way he kind of talks and, you know, influence others is a little bit more harsher or
That's crazy.
meaner. Yeah, so or more direct. I wouldn't say meaner, but more direct, like straight to the point, so you can kind of tell even authors' writings, like their style, you know, it kind of portrays their astrological sign.
I can see that, yeah.
That is true. Anybody else want to add on Toni Morrison?
I didn't find much information about it. So I didn't find that much information.
I had without even realizing it, I had skimmed through one of her books a long time ago without even realizing who she was until we had done the research.
What was the book about?
It was the Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Her book, Song of Solomon. I hadn't read it, but I had picked it up because it looked interesting at the time.
Okay, let's move on to, I believe it's media literacy and social media? Or
Yes.
something?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Nia Onim. For Nia Onim, I got,
He or she who does not know can learn.
yeah, he who does not know.
Yeah, emphasizing that the ignorance is not a permanent state, and that everyone has the ability to learn and grow.
And it's a symbol of knowledge, lifelong education, and continued quest for knowledge.
Yeah, those are the same 4 topics I had. Basically, he who does not know is the quote, and then, it kind of emphasized that anyone can, gain knowledge through learning, no matter your condition. You know what I mean?
So if they are come people, basically they are coming from the Ashantis, and these are people that are self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Ashanti Kenotunfo is kind of, though we have a lot of tribes in Ghana, we have about 30 tribes in Ghana, but the Ashanti Kingdom stand out, and it kind of everyone listens to them, and they know how to do everything. They are basically. So that is where they got a proverb. There's a proverb. Yeah, meaning whatever you want to do, just picture the thing very well, imagine the thing very well, and create a thing inside, and perhaps you can easily do it. So most of the thing that was happening around and in Ghana, because how they learn the process through which they learn, they could easily come out the best, or probably helping others or teach. And they are kind of these are people that are they are helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to help.
They want to always be the head. They want to always teach.
Yeah.
So that means the more that you teach, the more that you know. Yeah, so I think that is what I will also say about the proverb. Yeah.
I would say that's one of the things that I'm kind of learning from this class. It's more than just learning on your own. You got to be able to share knowledge and work with others and bounce ideas off. And I know that was one of the first things he said in class. Coming to college is proving that you want to understand, critically. So you're going to have to. It's not just going to be you and your ideas and your own research. You're going to have to lean on others and hear other, perspectives. And it's cool that you actually know some of these terms or some of these back,
That is true.
back information. I guess that can lead us into. Well, anyone else got anything?
Well, the source that I used is Adinkra symbols.org.
Symbol.
That's the same one that I have used.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm looking for it.
I used the Chife, it's just the Akinda art. That's the website I use.
I think it's just I think it's a good thing to kind of just remember in the back of your head.
Yes.
That no matter where you are in life, how much you know in life, you should always be seeking extra knowledge. You should always be seeking to be more knowledgeable. Even if you think you know everything, you might not.
And for me, I'm a Chinese, as you guys know, and there's like a certain a word that we say is like 学无止境. It's like 学无止境. It's like learning endlessly. Like there's always something you have to learn. Doesn't matter if it's like for example in the school, or in your life, or like from other people. You probably don't know. Other people will just like tell you that you learned it.
That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to add.
That's cool. That's actually really cool.
And I guess that can lead us into
Prison bias.
yeah.
Okay.
Anybody want to start on that one?
So
I like this one. This is where it gets a little juicy around
Yeah.
here. Nobody wants to admit that they biased, but I feel like present day biases it's been around forever. Especially when it comes to when you type in logical fallacies, because there's always flaws and errors in everyone's biases, and you can't turn on a news channel today that pretty much isn't biased or serving one side of the conversation. I guess the only thing I do have a cited little quote. I know that I am stupid by Jeffrey Silfwer from drspin.org. He kind of discusses how we all fall victim of some of the same like easy fallacies and present day biases. I know for me personally, like whenever the Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate comes on, I'm always like on the Michael Jordan side, like, because I'm so used to Michael Jordan always being the greatest player ever. So whenever someone tries to say LeBron James is the best player, I'm like, okay, look at all these holes in their argument and all these holes in his game personally, even though he might be the best player ever or whatever. I still fall victim to that same bias today.
Yeah, I think for the present, for the biases, I think it is very important to just have that in mind, that like you were saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be like specific stuff. It could be any type of thing where you fall into those type of fallacies. I would say you see big examples of the present biases in like news, for example. News just trying to get information out before actually certifying that it is the correct information. They're just saying stuff sometimes to say stuff and then
social
correcting
media
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like the immediate news are more kind of we put more importance to it than the ones that for the future. If probably the future researching means that you waste a lot of time and it will take more time, and that is more rewarding, and we can't wait for that. Yeah. So most of the times, it is what is affecting our society right now, and especially where I'm coming from, Ghana. We are kind of especially the government. They are kind of this is what the people want, and so during election, they will just throw money off. They will just throw money off, and that is what the people want. They need immediate kind of substance instead of looking at this. This is what we want a community to be, and therefore we don't have to accept what we and our family just have to eat right now or just have to spend right now for these politicians, because taking it right now will affect the future impact. I don't know how you guys are getting me, but probably this is what is affecting Africa. Yeah, we want it right now. We don't look at the future, the consequences of the future. Are you getting that? So therefore, the politicians know this is the weakness of the people. So when they are coming for this politics, this election, they will gather money and just come and give it to the people, and they will vote for them, knowing that when they come within just 4 years, they will mess things up and all that. And
Mhm.
yeah.
For me, I got the same definition, honestly, because for present day bias, I had, I believe it was an article that I looked at. It was from behavioraleconomics.com and thedecisionlab.com. I got that present day bias is the tendency to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future outcomes when making decisions. I'm sorry. It's basically what I got from the article was impatience. Present bias gives stronger weight to payoffs that are closer, and that relates very much to yours. And then I also got that it affects your health, finances, learning, and even small choices we make during the week.
So you can also apply it here in US. US have a lot of fast food. It's in the and so therefore there is the health issue, a lot of cancer. You will not see these kind of sicknesses in Africa. A lot of cancer and a lot of stuff, a lot of diseases. Yeah, but over there we take our time, we cook, we we are patient to get the food available. So I think that is the impatience and that we're talking about.
Well, most people in America, we all have so many different lives. I just feel like, I don't know, you can tell me when I get a vision of like Africa, I feel like everyone usually eats at one time and everyone has a job within the society of, there is no, I need a quick snack. Quick snacks there are probably like fruits and vegetables or like stuff that you can keep on you. So, I know here it's a little different.
That's what I've noticed, like when my family's from Mexico, so a lot of things that I have to correlate to it is when they say you come here, you come for the fast life. You come for the fast life, and over there, it's like I've been told that, over here we have to work 40 hours a week. Over there, they tell you that you work 20 hours a week or 18 hours, you have enough to eat at least for that week. But you're comfortable. You get to spend time with your family. Over here, that's a big thing where they say the people that you work with in life, they end up becoming more of your family because you see them more than you do your own actual blood family. I feel like that stimulates a lot into it because of the whole, fast-paced. Like, I could say that my parents, essentially, they wanted a better life, but they wanted more money more quickly to be able to live more comfortably.
But Mexico and blacks in general can blend the two. Yeah, you see Mexicans coming together and most blacks, African American and But the whites, typical white people, probably it will be a year a vacation before they will go and see a family member or something like that. So
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I have.
And some even don't know their auntie in the same states. Probably, right? But probably I know Mexico's kind of lifestyle is kind of that of Africa or something like that. So
your family's like right across from you.
Everyone is. We have a compound that auntie is here, grandma is here. Everyone is here, and actually it helps a lot. It helps the society a lot because everyone sees everyone as a family. Okay, and you trying to be violent against someone, you feel like, no, I can't do that.
I feel like yes and no, because there are always those bad apples that don't want to be together. Like, I thought when you were going in with blacks and Mexicans, I thought you were gonna go like how there's a lot. I don't know.
I'm not talking about the blacks, like the typical the black Americans here have taken the culture of the white Americans. So I'm not talking about them.
No, I think it depends on the person.
I would say it definitely does depend on the people. Because you're saying that majority, and I'm using the word majority, you're saying the majority of the African Americans have moved on and started to like adapt into the white culture. Well, I know, at least from personal experience, I knew a mixed kid in high school named Ethan. He was my best friend. His dad was white. The only white thing that would be considered white culture they did was hunt. He went to family cookouts every weekend. He did everything that would be associated with African American like culture.
There was a
Does that
big
make
thing
sense?
a while back. There was like a trend going around that, where everybody would identify their own culture. I remember they were saying like Mexican culture, and then Black American culture, and then Asian culture.
Yeah.
And they were having a stigma around what white people culture was. And I saw the video that was basically just depicting a white man shirtless, getting drunk, and being sunburned.
Yeah, I would say essentially that is what most people would call white culture.
Yes.
Is just going out, getting drunk, like getting blackout drunk and burning yourself.
And the thing is, even
And I don't want that. Like I would rather any day of the week go just spend hours upon hours just eating food and talking with my friends and family. I would rather just spend that type of social time than going out and drinking or partying or anything like that.
And then
because that's just more important.
within the culture thing, there's a stigma between, I'm first generation, so supposedly I don't have the stigma. But when it comes to second generation, we have something called the tacuache, which is those bowl cut Hispanics that you've seen. Tacuache means raccoon, by the way. So that is, it would also be the no sabos, which would be the Mexicans, either first generation, second generation, but we would consider it losing their roots because they don't know Spanish, they don't want to know Spanish. The typical the typical bias of Mexicans being hard workers.
Yeah.
They don't have that typical bias of Mexicans being hard workers.
Yeah.
That's basic. That is, to me, that's what bias in general would be. That's what I related to.
Okay, so let's go to the next point. Upload to perhaps Patos.
Oh yeah, like 20.
Okay, let's do it in speed run then. Appeal to pathos. We know that's an appeal to emotion.
Yep.
It's a rhetorical technique that becomes a logical fallacy when emotions are used instead of evidence or sound reasoning to persuade someone.
One of the definitions I got as well is like when an argument relies on emotion instead of logic or evidence, manipulating the audience. And one example that they gave is scare tactics, and the one that I wrote down that most people probably can relate to is speed it or ticket. So it already makes you feel like you're speeding.
The little sign.
You're wrong, and it's going to appeal to you, and the logical thing is going to be, you're going to get a ticket. In actuality, I'm pretty sure some of us probably sped to get here. So.
Why are you looking at me? So yeah. Well, for mine, my source that I got for that one was owl.purdue.edu.
I love Purdue.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Where did you get for your source?
I got pressbookhubs.net.
Alright.
So pressbookhubs.net.
Does anyone else want to add anything, or should we move on? Alright. Attention economy. Who wants to start?
I guess I can start. So from at least what I got about attention economy is that it's essentially talking about how the modern day companies are more looking for what can grab the attention of the audience they're trying to get, what can keep their attention, give us all the attention that we need to make more, I guess, money off of this. Like for example, like companies using like attention grabbing methods on TikTok or Instagram to make you look. Like the the videos where like they are going to throw something at like the person, they
Uh-huh.
stop it and they're like, oh, you thought they're gonna throw that at me, and then now they have their attention.
That is true.
I would say that would be a huge prime example of trying to get an audience to be captured by what you're wanting.
Mhm. Or the ones where I've seen videos of people that do hair. There will be it'll be them recording. It's their own business. It'll be them recording, but they have a customer or a friend that basically ends up trying to leave, and they're just saying, "Oh no, it's terrible. I'm not paying no $200 for this." And all this, and it grabs your attention at first because it's just like, whoa, what happened? It's a good hairstyle. Why are they fighting? And then you go to the page later and you find out, oh, this is the hairstylist. So I feel like that leads you down the loophole of figuring out who this is if you want to get your hair done by them.
Yeah. When I think of this one, you want to say something?
Oh, I was gonna say like, I feel like the example would be like, maybe like gaming.
Yeah.
It's like, I used to game like sometimes, and it's just like the time flies so quick.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even notice like it's like hours already gone.
It feels like 30 minutes
Right,
instead
right.
of like 3 hours.
Right. It's like when I look outside after gaming, it's like already dark. I'm like,
It's like, where did the sun go? I swear it was just sunny outside.
Yeah.
like it's like another way like can grab your attention like.
That's
Or
what
like
I'm understanding.
besides social medias, everything makes you like scroll everything like the TikTok, Instagrams, like keep scrolling.
Or some people have like a lot of anxiety towards it. Like, you guys know FOMO?
Yeah,
Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
A lot of people have fear of like,
Yeah, I
like
gotta know what's going on.
yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of people
That's a good
go
one.
on.
I was gonna say, yeah, movies. I definitely are a major example of this because that
Oh, yeah.
first 3 to 4 minutes, because in the definition they say like when businesses do it through advertising, they've broken down that those first 3 to 4 minutes are when you really have the attention of
Uh-huh.
the viewer.
Is it not too long?
Mhm.
The first 3 to 4 minutes is quite long.
They said that's like most advertisements. They need to be within 3 to 4 minutes. Of
okay.
course, that 10 to 15 seconds is
Yeah,
really what
yeah.
captures it. But anything longer than 4 minutes, you kind of lose, you know, the attention of the
Yeah,
viewer,
I like
especially
that.
when it comes to advertising.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of videos, like, okay, so for this one, I like to look up videos because I can't stand the thought of reading. I mean, I can read an article, I can annotate, I can do, you know, the dissecting of it. But a lot of these are videos, and these videos were about maybe 10, 15 minutes long that had all this information.
Yeah.
And at first I was just like, oh, I can't sit through this. But then they immediately go into explaining it to you, and I like looking at the diagrams, the pictures, and everything that goes within. If they make sketches, I like to draw the sketches in. Like, for example, in this
It clicks in your brain a little better.
they have like a chart example where it was 2 people on a phone, and then they had on the other side it was like these symbols for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and then they had like an arrow saying ads, and then going back towards attention. Or you know when like an ad pops up and then you accidentally click it,
Yeah.
and then you're
It'll
scrolling
send you
through that
somewhere.
other.
Yeah.
That's what I got for it. The source that I used was lawgeorgetown.edu, the attention economy. The attention economy, how they addict us.
So we have Gold Haber, 1997, MH 1997, at the attention economy and the nets. Okay, so that is one of the source.
Okay. What was your source, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I use ChatGPT for attention economy, and then I kind of looked at a YouTube video.
Yeah, you have to see the video.
Oh, got it, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
A lot of these I like looking up the YouTube videos.
Yeah, I like videos. Okay.
I feel like once you get the video kind of perception, then it makes it easier to read because now it then got your gears going. And
Mhm.
like, okay, they kind of done
Yeah. Especially has the subtitles on. It's easier for user.
Yeah.
I actually have an issue with watching watching videos to explain it, and it's not that like I don't understand it. It's I start to like pay closer attention to minor details in the video, like how they edit, or like if like their mic quality is like popping or something like that. So like I have to force myself to read. If I don't read and I watch a video about something, I'm like paying attention to the like not important stuff.
That is true. Okay, Dr. Dakota Tyler. I got my information from his webpage, his website.
That's what most of us.
I did look up some of the TikTok videos before we had done our group project, but I didn't really get into them as much. So the most I knew was that he's an astrophysicist, and then he used to play football, and he got an injury that caused him that he basically powered through it instead of just giving up.
Yeah. Knee injury.
Yeah. Anyone else want to add? Or no?
I just like you were saying, just to mention that he was, he's a social media influencer and all that. Just, I guess that would be kind of all. But you mentioned that.
One of the messages he put out in one of his videos, he basically was explaining that us as a people or individuals often view themselves as they're trying to prove themselves to a dominance. Like we're trying to live up to a certain perception of what reality think is successful or what's deemed as cool, or everyone wants to be perceived in a good light, of knowing either kind of like everyone would be perceived like I know what I'm talking about, I'm a real person. You know what I say, everyone says, oh, I'm real, I'm legit, I'm self-made, whatever. But in actuality, we all need to be comfortable with who we are and where we are in life. It's the only way we can really value our accomplishments and have that self-actualization.
For Blender software, I didn't really understand that one. I was thinking more of the open source software.
The 3D.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is.
For like 3D use.
I believe that's what because that's the only Blender software that I know of is the 3D rendering software. And it would make sense because a lot of companies started to move more towards the Blender software because it's more reliable and just kind of more accessible than some of the other stuff.
And I think that like leads them to like make more ads easier
and have like better, I guess I would say quality, but I guess more realistic looking ads because of how the Blender software just works in general, where you can add as much detail as your computer can hold, pretty much.
And then like that can basically add it can tie into media literacy because of our life is on our phone or on our computer or whatever type of technology we have.
Just whatever is in front of us, pretty much.
I got mine from blender.org, straight from blender.org.
Yeah.
I got it from the Blender Ohio State Software Director.
So these are some of the uses for the Blender software. What are you saying?
Relating it to media literacy. Like why it would relate to media literacy. And I feel like it would, we feel like it would relate because of the whole, having them put ads on your phone and
using the software to make those ads and stuff.
to make the ad, There's also people that are part of the problem.
Next one would be
Well, for Blender software, the definition I have in regards to how it means in rhetoric is that it's the style, how you arrange and present ideas for the audience. That's what I have for Blender software. So it's a tool that blends different elements to create persuasive content. Like how you blend ethos and pathos to convey your message. That's what I have for Blender
Where
software.
did you get your information on this?
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video, rhetoric surrounding Blender software. It's big in tech and creative industries, functions as a powerful cultural, economic, and ideological discourse. That's what's in the bio here. So Blender software is just their way of how they blend different persuasive techniques and present ideas for the audience. So it's kind of like the style.
I like that. I didn't know it helped you with the rhetoric. That's
Yeah, some of these definitions, it's like, I saw the 3D Blender software, I was like, that can't be what he's talking about. So I just typed in on what's Blender software in regards to rhetoric. And then that's where I kind of got just the arrangement of the argument.
And then we have classical conditioning and Pavlov's dog.
For this, I got my sources from just the, like, my main source was the simple, I think it was, let me just think, simplepsychology.org was the, like, main source where, I got the information for Pavlov's dog. But I had originally learned about this a couple years ago, just solely because I had the interest of getting into psychology.
Yeah, classical conditioning and Pavlov's dog, you can't talk about one and not the other, to be honest. Especially with everyone in the world today having either a pet or, you know, a child. Like, you can kind of see it every day.
Yeah.
Like, once I grab my leash in the morning, here comes my dog. Oh, it's time to go outside. Or, you know, once you
open up the fridge, they come running over for some food or something.
Or I don't know if any of us have
that.
children or like little siblings. Once you open that bag of chips,
Oh yeah,
here
different
comes
signs.
here comes the hands, you know. So,
Different signs, different directions.
and it's crazy because this is one of those, I feel like this is one of the bigger ones because we all can relate to. We all knows once that alarm goes off, it's time to get ready and come to class or go to work. So it's one of those things that they actually put, you know, they put a face to that we all can look in the mirror and say, oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
Um, As far as how it ties to rhetoric, anyone else want to say how it ties to rhetoric?
Rhetoric, I guess you could make the argument of classical conditioning through schooling with, like, writing and stuff like that. So you get conditioned to write a specific way throughout the majority of your school life, to where you might get confused whenever you come to college and they ask you to write in a different format, like business rhetoric lettering or ADA or APA, I guess, or anything like that. I guess you could argue it.
All I knew was introduction, body, and
Yeah.
conclusion, and I was like, that's all I ever wanted to know.
And then you
about
had to
school.
have like a certain structure. And you have to use in conclusion when you were in conclusion.
Like, it was so simple. Okay, in conclusion, you got that, but now in college, you're like, don't you ever say
In
Yeah, you
conclusion.
say in conclusion.
Oh no. Media. Is it media literacy next?
Yeah.
Okay. Media literacy. For my definition, I got is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and thoughtfully engage with all forms of communication.
Where did you get that from?
I got it from Media Literacy Now. This is a YouTube video. Media Literacy Now. What is media literacy?
I got the same one.
Now, for this one, later on we have the namely questions, but this video also gave you the namely questions, which was who created this message, what creative techniques are used to attract my attention, how might different people understand this message differently from me, what lifestyles, values, and points of view are represented in or omitted from this message, and why is this message being sent? And they do emphasize on the fact that you should start young.
Yeah.
You should start young, because there's a lot of people that immediately give their kids like a tablet when they're like barely even speaking.
Yeah.
Well, that's been recently showing a lot of issues with, I think it was the level of gray matter in their brains, the matter that allows, like, you to stay focused and
Learning and
attention.
develop,
they had shown like in a lot of cases of children under the age of 4 who have been given tablets,
Mhm.
that they are seeing up to 25%, if not more, of like deactivated or just not being there, like the gray matter in their brain. So their attention to detail is just not there. Like it's going to
And
affect
it
their
makes
whole
sense.
life.
It makes sense. Anyone else want to add that, or anti-electoral?
Okay, so probably with the media literacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also help, especially the general population, to know the real truths of a matter, probably a news, in as much that there are a lot of people that are bringing in their research, their videos, and all that. Okay, and I had this resource from the National Association for Media Literacy Education.
Okay.
I do have here. There was a school in I think Ohio that tried to teach media literacy in school, and like all the parents didn't approve of it. Like it was
Serious?
voted and none of them approved
Of
on it just
course
because
not.
they did like a study to see like would parents allow them to teach on certain subjects within media literacy. And I think at the time, there was so much like divide, they didn't feel like it was necessary or it was beneficial to be teaching children of like things within media and how to dissect it from the teacher's perspective. Because they're also, they have their own personalities or positionalities
Oh.
based upon the media they interpret. So that's why, they don't.
And that's funny because now there's like a computer in every kid's backpack.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they kind of just leave it up to, the student and I guess their own background and information on how they develop their own media literacy. So I thought that was pretty cool. Did you think, they'll try to teach all these things?
Yeah.
But,
And there's
You would
people
think they would
against
want
it.
their kids to be able to
Yeah.
I think
determine what's
Where'd you
real.
find this?
this was scrolling on YouTube again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I saw the same thing about yours. There was like how learning media literacy at a young age is
Mhm.
important because, like he said, those gray areas are usually filled with our likes and interests, and if we're just staring at a screen all day,
Yeah.
we don't develop.
Okay. Anti-intellectualism. For my definition, I got intellectual interests. This would basically be what people think, their thought process. Intellectual interests are a waste of time or even detrimental to society. It's like the general
Mhm.
distrust of experts and intellectuals. We did touch on it a little bit before. I got my source from YouTube. It was a video uploaded by Sarah Marie, and it was anti-intellectualism and the barriers to knowledge in an American society.
So I found it interesting, examination made by a person historian called the Richard Hofstadter's Puzzler Prize. So it's just in his work is he defines as a resentment and a suspicion of the life, of the mind, and of those who are considered of president, and the disposition of the constant minimize the value of their life. So it's that's what I
So
found.
the anti-intellectualism definition by the American anti-intellectualism is the distrust, rejection, and hostility towards intellectuals, experts, education, and scholars' knowledge. So people try to display distracts or anti-intellectual attitude that may probably expel or dismiss most writings or most research by experts, those that are being trained. And because the question is, where is this thing actually coming from? It's because people are not patient to get more information
To learn, yeah.
and learn from this expert, because this expert don't just conclude. They just have to pass through the whole scientific process,
Yeah.
methodology and all that, hypothesis and all that. And in this generation, we are not patient for that.
Yeah. We want to become experts
Yeah.
overnight.
So someone could just pick anything from what the scholars have said, probably in any of their research, and they will also just disprove it somewhere. These scholars will not come out to debate with them because they think it's not necessary, and it affected the audience, because sometimes as they are doing that, they are also giving reference to what the intellectuals or the experts said, and they could quote them. Yeah. And when you go inside, it's there, but actually maybe probably the expert explained it somewhere else in their writing.
Yeah.
So
I like how you use like distrust, disbelief, and distract, because that's literally what they're doing. They're doing that so people,
Yes.
like I said, they don't pay
Forget-
attention to
yeah.
the expert and what they're saying. They're just trying to disprove whatever they're. So you see the trend there, and me personally, I feel like this is something real, because I always think to myself, we lean on our elders for information and knowledge. Not saying every old person you meet is gonna know an expert thing about everything, but people that kind of use anti-intellectualism, I feel like it's kind of undermining. It's the reason why today we have so many problems with, values and, being honest and everyday things we were taught when we were little, because everyone feels like, oh, well, it's up to me to disprove, or,
That is
So
true.
do we think social media should also be responsible for this?
Intellectual, yeah.
Yeah, because probably they are rewarding based on the number of watch or view, instead of probably also questioning the people. Where is the source? Where is the authenticity?
Yeah.
And I think they are the best teams or platforms to check these things,
yeah.
so that people will know. They only check it when it is, excuse me to say, sexual or something of that sort. I think they should do it for all grounds of the.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to ethos. For ethos, I was actually looking up a video from YouTube. Communication coach Alexander Lyon. What is ethos? And I don't know if anybody could agree with me or not. He stated, ethos does not mean ethics. What do you guys think about that?
I would say, I could see that, yeah. I could see ethos being more relating to like a credibility over ethics. Because you could be, like hypothetically, you could be a like ethically not good person, but if you are a credible person, then you kind of have to like,
Yeah.
like you can have more credibility while also not being an ethical person. That doesn't mean you're not a credible person.
Some of the key takeaways that he explained, I won't go too into detail. Speak about what you know. Don't just inform, talk out your ass. Be open about who you are. What that correlates into what you know, and then if people can even trust you. Treat people well. It also tells about who you are.
I would say treating people well also gains you that credibility of people listening and all that.
So, example, if a doctor is talking about a health issue publicly, and his character is not good, probably we have recorded domestic violence about him. Is it to listen to him? Is it right to listen to him?
Like if he's a public speaker and he's done something bad.
Yeah, he's
online.
a doctor. Yeah, but yet he have this character.
It could be said that he doesn't want to help people. That is
Yeah.
true.
You could make that out about his character.
Okay.
But yet, when we come to society, we don't. Okay, probably America. I've seen that before you even talk to people, they also have to check your behavior or your character. Yeah. Though you are an expert in that, but other places they don't look at it. They just look based. You're an expert. They will let you talk to the children. Oh, he's a doctor, so let him talk. Though he has been violent or he has a bad character. Yeah. So.
Do you want to start us off with logos?
Yeah, logos. So I have the definition from the actual handout from the School of Liberal Arts. Logos just appeals to reason. Basically how the author kind of like puts their point together and how they argue their point to the reader. So logically, basically how they convey that message to the reader.
And it also uses research data to support the argument.
Usually statistics help their argument as well in logos.
For me, what's it called? The same communication coach, Alexander Lyon, he also talked about what is logos. And the key takeaways from that one were sound argument, good evidence, and make a reasonable connection between claim and evidence.
Okay, let's go to the other one. Is it the Carols?
I think it's
Patterns.
Emotions. How like the creator say the certain things can influence people's thoughts and what they think about it. Especially the one with for the video, it kind of it's just Dr. Dakota points to the images. He's talk fast and kind of aggressively trying to explain it to let the audiences to be oh, this must be important.
Yeah.
He talk fast. He argues it, and he's talking about it. That's why.
So basically, it appeals to the audience emotion. So he also used an example you want to raise funds or donation or a charity work.
Yeah.
You have to probably about children. You have to get a best picture that portrays a suffering child, maybe in what was the name? Gaza. Is it Gaza? Yeah. So what is going on right now? A child being lame and Koshoko. I don't know. Is it the English name? Yeah. So this will actually move the audience in terms of their emotions.
Yeah.
To get into whatever.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah. For me, again, I looked up the same guide, communication coach Alexander Lyon. What is pathos? It really, he said something, he quoted a quote by Dr. Peter Marston. It was specifically about MLK's I Have a Dream speech. He said, if he had said, I have an idea, nobody would have remembered it. And I feel like that plays a part into it because, between dream and idea, the one that had more of an impact was I have a dream.
Because everybody has a dream. everybody has a dream, and that's something that's supposed to be important to you. You know?
Dreams like for something you want to be in the future. Try to like build either like or like try to make things happen. That's why he grabbed everybody's attention. Not just like you said, like idea. Everybody is not like affected by the dreams.
I do feel like pathos isn't everyone. Like I feel like the other ones, anyone can kind of, you know, do. Pathos. It's all about the messenger, how they can communicate that.
Yeah.
Because everyone can't say the same things and it resonates. Because I could be like, I have a dream. And they probably like, okay, what? But I do feel like it's about
how you
the
communicate
messenger,
it.
how you tie the conversation together, the body of the argument.
And then essentially too, what I learned from the YouTube video was he said that it's not you going up there and crying or screaming to get your point across. Like he said, you don't have to physically be doing something to relay your information. Okay. Kairos.
So, for Kairos, I had that it was pretty much, it's like the common definition of it is timing, but it's about like just essentially when is the appropriate time to make the comment. When is like if you are talking to somebody about like their dog dying and they're in the middle of being like man, my dog they just died and you're like that's cool, you want to go to the swimming park? It's like it's like that's an awkward time to ask that question. There's another time, another place.
So it is making an argument of the most appropriate moment. And that's the best example.
Or if you finally, you know, need to finally get that heart medication and you see them. Heart medicine commercial.
Let's go party.
Yeah, you see those people dancing on the screen. Like, if you have a heart condition, you know, you can be happy too.
It might cause to seizures and all that.
Yeah,
really.
and then they fly through the side effects.
What is going on right now?
Yeah, so it just comes to timeliness, or maybe you know somebody that's, you know, you got a parent that has dementia and now they're showing commercials about
like dementia all the time.
For mine, from the video that I looked up, I got trying to motivate people with a current event. An example is gun control. Like if you're speaking on gun control and you're giving it a lecture about it, you'd bring up a recent shooting, relevant example for that moment and time. Mine was my source was Dr. Jacob Larson, Read, write, and cite what is Kairos. Oh, yeah.
And then the last one, telos.
Topos?
It must be misspelled. Mine says
So it's
telos.
referring to
I got topo.
a shared belief or value that help persuade the audience. So basically, when you are raising maybe a school founding in a church or you've gone to a place you want to raise a founding for maybe a student, you just have to give an example of what some of the founding did for individual students. Now they are professors, now some are doctors now. So you just give a leverage of how the founding has helped others to school and be at a very most important place. So I think that is what they mean, the purpose.
I'm not gonna lie, for topos, I knew it was like the topic argument, but I didn't really get too deep into it because I didn't really understand what the videos were correlating.
So it kind of similar to logos somewhere.
It's like a common ground.
Yeah.
Common ground.
It's gonna be similar to like trying to get that common topic with somebody else. At least that's how I had interpreted it.
Makes sense.
Like how you use Luther King. He was communicating to get everyone. Everyone had individual dreams, but he was channeling everyone to his dream that he wants all of us to achieve, the black folks to achieve. And he communicated his dream so that it can be plain and simple
Mm-hmm.
for everyone to also capture that dream and dream it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that they will all be in a common,
I feel like it ties more so political because it's more like a cause and effect. So it's like really good for like debates or, argumentative type of environments because they're basically trying to sway you in one direction with providing like I said, different arguments. But the main thing was like cause and effects. Like if this happens, such and such will happen. It's basically how Topos was described to me when I looked it up. I just in Google when I searched for rhetoric kind of argumentation on it. So it's kind of like debating and cause and effect.
Makes sense. Logical fallacies. My definition was flaws in reasoning that undermine the logic of an argument. For example, distorting or manipulating facts, drawing false conclusions, distracting you from the actual issue at hand.
Which one is that?
Logical fallacies. Are we on logical fallacies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least
I did it.
I hope so because that's how mine is too.
I did
It
it.
goes from ethos and all that
And then
to
all that-
logical.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that.
There's one thing is that it's not easy to spot. I believe intellectualism also plays a part in that because I also believe if you really, really, really desperately don't want to spot something, you will not look deeper into it.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to add something?
No, I feel like we kind of talked about it a little earlier with the biases.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kind of.
That is true. And what's the next one?
Namal, I think the namal questions.
Oh, the namely. Well, the namely we already
sorry.
stated.
Yeah.
The namely we already stated. After?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it goes namely and then I think it's yeah.
So we're on
Business rhetoric.
Abadua? Alright.
I think this is a long one.
Which one are we on?
Yeah, probably.
Nobody kicked it outside.
Abadua.
Kicked them out.
I know.
No?
I'm surprised. I would do it. I got you.
I got mine from adinkra-symbols.org, and it's palm tree, symbol of wealth, resourcefulness, and self-sufficiency. The palm tree is a symbol of resourcefulness because many diverse products emanate from that single tree. Wine, oil, brooms, roofing, material, etc.
Yeah, I had the same thing, just symbolized resourcefulness, wealth, and self-sufficiency. It was a palm tree. Akan people of West Africa. Have you heard of them?
That is my tribe.
Serious?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an Ashanti and Ewe.
Speak on it.
About the palm tree.
Yeah.
Okay, so the palm tree, I think most of you were resilient, strong. The tree itself
Yeah.
is, we use the branches there for the broom, okay, and that's what I described that. It is not easy to break,
Yeah.
okay, so basically the Abedua have a lot of also importance from the roots. We use it for the medicine, for the fruit, for a lot of stuff like palm nuts, palm oil, and all that. So that tree itself is a gold, it's a diamond, is valued. I get in it. So fortunately, I haven't read much about the rest of that. I think that is what it will talk about, abedua. So abedua, we get akokono from it. We get a lot of stuff from it, and the tree itself, because of how the roots is structured, it doesn't matter the storm, it doesn't matter whatever happened around it. It is firm and it is strong.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't you have that in America here?
Palm tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, people plant them a lot.
Okay.
They're everywhere in like Florida.
People plant, or here in Georgia, they like literally
Yeah.
plant them for their houses.
Yeah, I've seen a couple like, and it just looks weird because it'll be like the regular forest and then just like two palm trees in the
Yeah.
yard and then like regular trees again. And I'm like I don't think those are supposed to be there.
Just get in your backyard, not the front yard.
Yeah, like,
No, they want the front yard.
yeah, the front yard is where like they don't have anything in the backyard and it's just like two palm trees in the front yard.
See everything I have, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got two palm trees. Twice as resourceful.
Chevron deference. Deference or yeah,
Yeah, deference.
deference.
Or deference, I don't know.
Refers to a doctrine under which courts historically defer to a federal agency's interpretation of an ambiguous statute that the agency administers. I got my information from Origins of the Chevron Deference Doctrine, number 86, the Federalist Society, Law Cornell, EDU.
I got mine from law.cornell.edu as well, but are we on the same one?
Chevron Deference?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, no, I was asking like, did you get it from this page or did you find another one?
I got from that page.
Sure.
You got it from this
Yeah.
one too? Because I was like, this is where I got mine from, but then you were.
I got that it lasted over 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
but in
Okay.
2024, the Supreme Court overruled.
Declaring the Administrative Procedure Act.
Requires courts to exercise their
Mhm.
independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority, and courts may not defer to an agency simply because a statute is ambiguous. Chevron is overruled.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have anything to add to that?
Y'all say y'all got yours from which site?
Cornell.
Law-
Law.cornell.edu.
Oh, it's a Legal Information Institute.
Yes.
Okay, that's where I got mine too.
Oh.
I did give my example from like just Google. I just
Mhm.
kind of asked them like, what's a broad example? They did give one that I don't really understand, the Chevron USA versus Natural Resources
Yeah,
Defense
actually
Council.
they had some kind of courts.
It was called Luber Bright
courts event,
Enterprises versus Raymondo.
Yeah.
I believe this one later ends up tying into, like, I have more on it, but it later ends up tying into, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it ties into redlining. I could be wrong.
Redlining.
Yes. We'll get to that one later. But,
Okay, yeah, it could explain it in such a way that it's during the ruling, like the Chevron USA and the natural resources, it makes the court give a ruling. Okay, that means probably a red line. That instructs the court that everyone should defer to a reasonable interpretation made by the federal agency when law are ambiguous. Okay, so probably the federal, they said for decades they gave agencies significant power to interpret rulings. Okay. So after I think the rulings with the Chevron USA and the natural resources, they gave a well line on what to do and how to do. So probably everyone knows the rules and the laws and know how to interpret it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For when women were allowed to open bank accounts in the United States without a man involved,
It was
Oh,
1974.
really?
yeah. I got my source from chase.com. They had a little
Like the bank?
they
Yes,
had they had a
okay.
little information
The
session.
timeline.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool actually.
There's different time eras, like about women's, how they like developed.
That it was cool.
It's called the Equal Credit Opportunity Act.
Mhm.
Oh, and for Chevron difference, the example I found that's pretty like a good way to tie is the Fair Labor Act. So
Mhm.
it exempts like businesses from paying you overtime. Like they don't have to pay you overtime if they
Mhm.
don't want to schedule you for that many hours. But it also makes them define a salary minimum.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
that's one way Chevron difference played a toll into like the statute of the law and how it ties into like what the businesses are doing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the dark triad. I looked up a video. It was dark triad personalities, narcissism,
Mm-hmm.
Machiavellism, Machiavellism.
Yeah, Machiavelli.
Machiavellism and psychopathy.
Manipulation or something of
By,
exploitation.
Yeah.
By it was from the YouTube creators Sprouts.
That's the creator?
Yes, Sprouts.
So basically, it is these socially undesirable traits, personal traits
Mm-hmm.
that we don't want in our society, like lack of empathy or remorse, manipulation, and excessive self-importance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
What's funny is that these all tie together, but they're their own word.
Okay, so with the narcissism is being excessive self-importance, in as much that you don't value other people, and probably you feel like yours is the final say,
Mm-hmm.
and the machiavellianism is probably manipulation and exploitation, and the psychopathy is the lacking empathy or remorse.
Mm-hmm. And they don't form emotional bonds.
Yeah.
OpenPsychiatrics.org has free tests if y'all wanted to test and see.
That's
how-
crazy. What you get?
I haven't taken it yet. You know, this was something I was going to do probably, I don't know, maybe this weekend, just to see how benevolent I am.
Oh,
What was
no.
the test?
It's like a dark triad personality test, so just gauging your, you know, your worst features. You know, I feel like a lot of times they tell us to, you know, like talk about your good qualities, but you don't
You gotta find out.
enhance those good qualities.
I
by
think
knowing your bad ones.
I also think there's a demon that have different roots, and probably if you are a psychopath, you have all these traits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You might find out you're pregnant.
Yeah. Web Du Bois. How you spell it?
Du Bois.
Wait, the boy.
The boy.
And double
Bois.
consciousness.
I think that a boxer's name is also called
Du Bois.
WFC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's someone named Du Bois in the fighting. Yeah. I know you.
I looked up a video for this, I believe, and I liked the way it opened because it showed how the story started. It tells a story, the book tells a story of a comet hitting New York and unleashing toxic gases, taking all human life. A survivor emerges, Jim Davis, a black man.
Okay.
I found like an article. It says like Du Bois defined the concept of double consciousness as being like forced to view oneself not only through one's own lenses but also through the racially projected lenses of whites, thus resulting in conflicting and the fragmented identity. It's like people can feel like divided when they must like balance different social and like cultural identities.
So I think that there is also there's a resource that the soul of a black folk, and so the author explained that black Americans often view themselves through both their own identity and the lens of a society shaped by racism. And he said that this creates a tension between personal identity and societal perception. You know, and I think it relates to probably you focus on yourself, focus on what is good and beautiful within yourself and building it up. You're also thinking that someone don't value you, and so therefore, and when you see in that perspective, you don't actually value what is inside you, and what is inside you will not come out. So I think that is what the soul for black folks actually try to explain in this double consciousness.
And I forgot to mention the book that I was mentioning was The Comet, which was published in 1920.
Comet.
Yes, that was very interesting because it hits on the concept. Do y'all want to move on or anything else to add?
I was just gonna say that I
Did
just
you
had
say
a
you're
like
going
a,
in class? Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I had like, for like an example of it would be like always looking at yourself through others' eyes, like always being like, how does this person perceive me, and then just finding that more important than how you truly perceive yourself.
I feel like that's something that we all do, regardless of, he specifies it within oppressed society, but I feel like we all have a double consciousness, how we perceive. Actually, I was reading something the other day that just talks about how we all have a way we view ourselves and how others view ourselves. We could say we're caring and, I'm loving and this and that, but ultimately the people who we interact with are going to have a completely different judgment. Yeah, they might say that if you portray that, but everything we tell ourselves isn't always going to be what's depicted. So it's really having those two battles.
Probably it depends. It become a battle depend on how you communicate to yourself. Most important, the one that you have to take in priority is what you say to yourself and how you view yourself. And probably the one that you get from the outside world should be kind of a guide. Yeah, for you to probably, you see yourself, you are caring, you are loving, but someone is saying, is it true? What else? Probably you could add some, because a lot of people have different opinion on how they see people. That whatever you are seeing and whatever you are viewing from yourself should conquer probably what is outside, so that you can be the best can come out of you. That is one important thing that you have to put across. It's not what the people are saying outside. That is what you should always accept. Yeah.
I feel like we all probably have felt like we were part of like an oppressed society where not necessarily as an ethnicity we felt oppressed, but as far as our interests or something, it hasn't been the most, the most dominant, interest of everyone else in the room. So naturally that made us feel like we're kind of different.
That is true.
Okay, the next one. Maslow hierarchy of needs.
It is Octavia
right.
E. Butler in her publishing Parable of the Sower.
There's a lot. Are we going to finish?
I'm the one with the class.
What time is your next one?
At 1, but I was supposed to be in a study group. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to study.
So.
I have a lot of assignments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could do like little.
It's okay. I want to get this over with. So. Octavia Butler and the Parable of the Sower, as you said. 1993 science fiction novel.
The novel that impact extend far beyond like the realm and the literature, like until like the 2017. And it was like adapted to like an opera.
Really?
It
Yeah.
was?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually really cool. I did not know that.
In the 2017.
Oh.
It's called by Toshin Regan and Bernice Johnson Regan, blending African American spiritual soul rock and the folk music to bring father's story in life on the stage.
I'd actually be very interested in listening to that.
It is. I did information on Octavia Butler and the Parable of the Sower, but a quote that I wanted to share by Octavia Butler was: a pessimist if I'm not careful, a feminist, a black, a former Baptist, an oil and water combination of ambition, laziness, insecurity, certainty, and drive.
I took a quote that she had made in 2020. What was the year the book was written?
1993.
Yeah, so it was 1993. I have something different. Well, it was from that book. Pretty much her quote was, for us to survive a chaotic world, humanity must embrace change, foster empathy, and build our communities. Which I thought was pretty cool. Because she's giving her own, like, what we need to survive a chaotic world. She's giving her own definition on how the world must be better. And I feel like it's always nice when people who write novels or like thinkers like this give their direct view of how we can be better as a world.
It's true.
Because it's coming from so much knowledge and research and everything that goes into them writing their novels and books and stuff. You know?
My information I got from Crash Course, the Parable of the Sower, Crash Course Literature 406. I also wanted to point out that the Parable of the Sower takes its name from a Bible parable in which Jesus describes someone who goes out to distribute seed. Some falls on the path and is eaten by birds. Some falls in rocky places and can't grow. Some falls near thorns, so that's no good. But some of it falls on fertile ground and grows beautifully. Alright. Future of jobs in AI. The place I got it from said that AI is set to affect jobs in 2026 to 2030, so yay us. Where did I get this from?
I got my next four AD.
Like this? Okay, I got it. Yeah, next word at edu. I got it from the same one. I wrote down key ones that they said were going to be replaced. For example, customer service representatives, receptionists, accountants, bookkeepers, salespeople, research and analysts, warehouse work, insurance, and retail. The ones that were seen as not to be able to be replaced, but we never actually know. Teachers, lawyers and judges, directors, managers, CEOs, HR managers, psychologists and psychiatrists, surgeons, computer system analysis, artists and writers. But I feel like the artists and writers is very in between.
Yeah, because you're seeing like the creation of like AI artwork,
AI
songs,
artwork, videos, everything like that. That's very in between. When I read that, I was just like, some artists are already being affected by this.
There's people who are like using AI just to make money.
Yeah.
Through actual, like whenever people are trying their hardest to do like art and make songs and music and stuff.
Yeah.
People are just making easy money.
A lot of songs right now are like generated by AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like
No more ghostwriters.
it looks like the original, like the meaning of the music.
That's
Like,
somebody who's replaced the ghostwriters. The ghostwriters are being replaced now.
Yeah, a lot of people have been replaced. Initially, first in Ghana, I have to always employ a graphic designer, and this time they just have to send me the thing here, what the customer needs, maybe a cloth, maybe a T-shirt or something. I just design it here with AI, and send it. And before, I've written a lot of songs that I have to also make sure. And getting to a studio is probably like $200. So it has replaced a lot of stuff, and it's still going to replace more and more stuff.
Sure.
One
But
thing.
yeah, it has like kind of some like positive effect, like the economy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say the World Economic Forum, webforum.org, says that AI could eliminate 92 million jobs globally by 2030, but it's also projected to create 170 new job openings, resulting in 78 million more jobs. And when I think about it, I just think about all the hassle that it took before AI, like having to manually do everything, paperwork. I do feel like AI is going to alleviate a lot of that, to where there'll probably be one person in place with a much easier job as opposed to cycling through papers and having to look up information. AI is kind of replacing all that as well. So I feel like there are some positives that's a part of it.
I think the positive aspect is for those who have been prepared and have learned the AI. Yeah, these are for those who.
But it does say like data entry jobs and things like that are going to be phased out.
Yeah.
Harvard, are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say like the AI has like profound impact, like additional global economic activity around like 30 trillion in a foreseeable future by 2030. It's like 16% of the cumulative GPA like rates.
Harvard IAT test. IAT Implicit Association Test was developed in 1998. Developed by Harvard to address this need for a valid measure for implicit bias in research. Assesses the strength of your subconscious associations between different objects, which psychologists believed led to implicit bias. For example, the test will reveal you implicitly prefer flowers over insects. Used to assess bias in race, gender, sexuality, age, etc. My source was What is the Harvard Implicit Association Test, IAT, Task the Blue and Gold.
Mine was from the vetbrain.com, and it's like it says IAT involves rapid like categorization of the stimuli. It's like it's not about like the answer that the participant choose. It's how fast the reaction that participant answered the questions. Like
So-
it's like 10 minutes, like just 10 minutes like testing.
Like your brainwave.
Yeah, how you brain like fast enough to like react to the different categories
Yeah.
or like different selections.
From what I had, it
So
was.
the research also said that the people may hold these biases and may not be aware
Yeah.
that they have these biases. Probably, I think the World Cup I was supporting this team, what's the name? This black team, and I realized, how am I supporting them? Because probably, that is something that consciously or unconsciously you may not be aware of. And it also says that it tells the study of the implicit bias based on race, gender, age, and other social categories. Yeah.
You wanted to add?
Everything.
No, just basically what he was saying. Like it was basically it wants to measure you. It wants to kind of. It don't want you to think. It wants you just to see the images and the words and immediately say how you feel about them. It don't want you kind of looking stuff up or trying to dwell too much upon it. It just wants to kind of measure your unconscious biases at the time.
Redlining. discriminatory lending practice of denying access to federally backed mortgages and loans to certain communities based on race and ethnicity. It started in the 1930s during the housing crisis. Examples of this were white communities were given a grade A rating and identified as desirable, so they would be more probable to get loans. While black communities, regardless of economic status, were given a grade D rating and branded as hazardous and high risk, so they were not able to get loans. I think the crazy part is that I know history, yes, but the fact that it wasn't even outlawed that long ago, it was outlawed in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was outlawed, the damage was already done. There was no going back. I got my my evidence from what is redlining? Think TUPBS. It was a YouTube video.
I got from the Cornell law.cornell.edu from the Chevron difference, like you said, for the 1968. It was the Fair Housing Act prohibited the discrimination concerning of sales, rentals, and financing of house based on the race, religion, national origin, or sex. The aim of the act was put to the end of a race-based house pattern. Later, the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act of 1975 was adopted, which required the collection by financial institutions of information about their mortgage lending activities.
Anybody else want to add or? Okay. The rise of anti-intellectualism.
Here we go again.
21st century people question the Earth's shape and the validity of basic arithmetic. Yes, there are people out there that still believe the Earth is flat. Just to walk off the edge of the Earth. Anti-science fever. Anti-science fever makes us easy to manipulate because any contrarian message is brought in mass, no matter who is presenting. Pseudoscience. And pseudo means false. False science. There are people that will be out there and pretending to be scientists, scholars.
Yeah.
They'll tell you whatever they want without any evidence, and they'll just give it to you. And there are a lot of people that will just be like, "Whoa, I agree with this person just because they said that."
Other than that, other aspect.
I got my own quote
Okay,
that I made. I said, "My ignorance is just as good as your knowledge."
It's your own quote. Crazy.
That's good.
My source was the dangerous rise of intellectualism. Professor Dave explains. This was also a YouTube video.
Oh, Professor Dave.
I've actually watched a couple of his videos.
Yeah.
That's some good
Yeah.
videos. That's what Dave says, some good ones.
I put in all caps, I don't understand equals this is bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just going to say next one.
Oh, nice. He said let's move along. Okay, Maslow hierarchy. Theory in psychology. 5 stages of human needs that motivate our behavior. Abraham Maslow proposed this theory in 1943. Okay, so we know at the bottom of the period there's psychological needs. Psychological needs: eat, breathe, drink, sleep. You know, basic needs. Safety, then comes safety. Earn money, build resources, look for shelter. Love and belonging is the next one. Does anybody want to do that so I don't overtake?
Love and belonging.
Yes.
What do you like? Just explaining like what? So it's just that it's
Like romantic relationships, like family,
yeah.
Family, friends,
yeah, friendships.
belonging to a society.
Can I add something to the first one, the basic levels?
Yes, you should finish that.
So I got like from the health Cleveland Clinic.org. It's like given an example for the psychological ones. So it says if your plane crashes on a desert island, there's a problems that you're probably going to try to solve first. If you're injured and dehydrated, chances are that you're not going to prioritize making small talks and build like friendships other than just like survivals. Basically, it says like the first thing you do is like has to the basic ones, the basic needs, like the food, waters, shelters, everything. That's comes first. Don't do anything stupid like waste your time or anything. Has to do the basic ones first. And for safety, like it says like going back to the plane crash, what are you doing to do after you received first aid and found something to eat or drink? Maslow's hierarchy of needs says you need to find somewhere safe to sleep, or you might also team up with other survivors. Basically, like step by steps, not just like jump to the things like probably like in the future. There's like nonsense right now. Like you need to survive first, other than just like building things up. That's what like I found out.
That's true. The next one I got for the pyramid was esteem, self-confidence, and respect from our peers, wanting to be, or we want to be someone. Because if anything, yeah, it does. A lot of people say that our self-esteem doesn't really come from other people's voices, but it really does. It's for some people it's positive, for some people it's negative.
It's like that saying, like, you could tell yourself 100 times a day, like, I'm smart, I'm gonna get through this, I'm a good person. All it takes is one person to be like, you're stupid. And then you're like, well, am I stupid?
Yeah.
Like, am I really that stupid? Someone called me stupid. Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But the first point that you made, like talking to yourself about these things, I'm excellent, I'm successful, I'm wise, and all that. It really works. And if you don't do it, and someone just say nasty thing about you, that is when it gets in deep. But if you have been doing that, and someone throws a negative outside, it just bounces back. Yeah. If you're consistent in doing it, when someone throws negative things to you, because it doesn't get to your subconscious. Yeah, it just becomes something you just brush off and you. Yeah, because whatever you have been saying positive about yourself, because it is consistent, it gets into your subconscious. That is when you accept it. You get to a point that you accept it. That is who you are. So whatever people say outside, it's kind of it just come and go. Yeah.
That's why I personally felt like love should have been higher. Love and belonging should have been higher than self-esteem.
Actualization. So sorry. Relax. This is where you get to relax, where you get to be creative. Hey. Okay. Relax. Be creative.
Sorry.
It's okay. Accept facts for what they are. Give back or do what we want. A lot of people skip to that. A lot of people, I believe, they choose others over themselves and over building their own hierarchy. I believe a lot of people, they go and they try to help others before actually helping themselves, resulting in it could be a positive, a negative, or a middle effect of where they help them out, but dang, they're still screwed.
Sorry, I did overnight, so
It's okay.
I'm really tired.
So I got a quote from the same website from Dr. Potter that explained that it's a rare state where you're doing what you truly want, motivated only by your desires and not by what you need or expect of you.
My source was from Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, which is another Sprouts video. Implicit bias versus explicit bias. First of all, biases are attitudes and stereotypes held to most anything. I have a little chart drawn that has biases, attitudes, behavior, and stereotypes. everything just goes around.
Intersectionality in criminal.
Well, do you guys want to talk about explicit? Well, for explicit bias,
Yeah.
Consciously accessible through direct introspection, and you can close your eyes and ask yourself the question and elicit an answer. Now for this, I was just like, whoa, what are they talking about? Until they got to an example. I did not write down the example, but
I have one that teachers only allow native English speakers to submit their writing to a contest. That's a expressly open bias, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And then for implicit example that I had is the teacher expecting English learners will be poor writers. Like
Mhm.
those that are learning English are going to be bad writers. Like that's an unconscious, so she's automatically just assuming.
Now he doesn't expect me to be like poor writers.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that I feel like very comfortable with this class, because he said you don't have to do the King's English, because in another class, where I'm doing like my medical term class, we have case studies that we have to go through, and I went through it with him before I turned it in, and this also hurt my feelings a little bit because I wrote out, it says to explain in your own words, and for me, my English has always been picked at. When I was growing up, I learned English and Spanish, but it also mixes together a lot, but sometimes I don't speak right, or I don't understand what somebody is saying. I had written down a definition, and he said, you are correct, but you need to work on your English. And yeah, hurt my feelings. But my source was implicit versus explicit bias, learning and development. It was a video. Resume bias by humans. For resume bias by humans, I got it from hr.ucdavis.edu, and I put like, it was basically the information of what humans look at. I also had a course with Georgia Power representative where she was HR, and she views the documents, the resumes that people turn in, and she tells you explicitly, she does look at email domains, she does look at typos, your address, a lot of the jobs that you do end up getting picked for, they do look at your address and they see where you are, if you're even close, what if you don't even make it?
Right.
That's why I also believe that people ask, do you have a car? Other than that, there's name racial bias, which plays into our races, Mexican name, black name, white name, gender bias, female, male, gap stigma. If there's a gap in your work resume, they're gonna want to know why. Or the people that have jobs and they quit within like a month, and then they put those, and they think it's a good idea to like put each monthly job that they have, but in reality it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you getting fired frequently, quitting frequently.
Age bias. Educational bias. Yes.
So basically, researchers also found that resume with traditionally white-sounding names receive more interview callback than the traditionally black-sounding names. And this is by Bertrand, 2004.
Okay. Anybody have anything else to add? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Alright. Biased AI resume reading tools.
I found my information from Washington.edu, and so what I found was that they started to, Amazon specifically, was like the founding of the AI resume tools for it, and it started back in 2014 with Amazon because they had found out that the AI they had been programming was biased around like women's names and all that. So if you had a feminine sounding name, you wouldn't get called back. You wouldn't get, they wouldn't be interested in you. And then they looked deeper into it, and it was not even like, if you, for like certain degrees that you had, they deemed as feminine degrees. So if you had those degrees or certificates, it would just blacklist you from it.
Wow.
And it was because, and then they found out later that it was also going like negatively towards other like races and all that. So it was mainly just looking for masculine, white-sounding names, degrees, certificates, and anything that sounded like it could have been anything with diversity or feminine in any way. It just blacklisted you from the AI. So it wouldn't ever tell you.
That's where I got mine too, Washington EDU, and then they had, well, when they went deeper into it, they said that it's just a historical algorithm. Like, that's literally just how the algorithm's been in America for so long. So they had to go back and change that type of algorithm, because when they made these AI developing tools, they pulled from previous information, employer information, so if humans were making those mistakes, the AI just picked up on it.
Wow.
So like
So these are information that they feed.
Yeah.
So
It's just noticing that these are the people that are hired, and these are the chances. It's like a computer is going to do the same thing. So
Wow.
it came down to having to change the algorithm.
That's crazy. Oh, was that last?
That's it.
Okay.
Did we go over
There's
intersectionality?
one more thing. You said what?
Did we go over intersectionality?
No, we did not. Oh, intersectionality. I had my own page for that too.
Yeah,
We had that paper,
Yeah.
well, the assignment.
Yeah, the assignment
I
that we
would say
had.
this page right here is really just about intersectionality.
I drew the
what's
whole little
leading to
chart. I drew the whole little chart where, because I like the way that she
the stop sign, the
Yes.
street sign. I watched that video that
I
you
loved-
recommended. It was a really good
loved-
video.
loved how she explained it. How it was her. It was I'm sorry, not her. It was Emma. And Emma was
Essentially on the crossroads of race and
Sexism.
sexism,
Uh-huh.
like racism and sexism, and she was on a crossroad, overlapping road, and she was either being seen for only her race or only her gender.
yes.
But that's not what it is. It would show like the road. The
It
example
was
shows
two
a
things.
literal road overlapping with Emma standing in the middle of the road and being like, before, like, I forget exactly what she says, but it's essentially saying that you wouldn't have known this about Emma without going into that deeper
Yes.
research of who she is, not that she's just a black woman, or not that she is an African American or she's a woman,
Mhm.
but she's an African American woman. She's both of those things in one thing. She's
I
not just one or
love
the other.
How later on the court, the what's it called? The shop had said, no. We hire
African Americans
African
and we hire
Americans
women.
and women. But it's usually the
But-
receptionist, white women.
Yep.
The black Americans were the people working on the cars.
Yeah, like the manual laborers and
The
all
manual
that.
laborers, and there's like, maybe if this, I would say they should have taken a closer look at it, especially because if they put out that statement, I would have loved to have a statistic of if they actually have a black woman in there. No, they never said they specifically have a black
Yeah,
woman
they
in
only
there.
said they had women. They hired
Uh-huh.
women and they hired African Americans. never said they hired African American women, and that was the big issue that was underlying. And then, did you happen to? I also went in and actually read her article in the Chicago Law Forum, the original one, and then I also found out that she goes and reiterates intersectionality in an entirely other article called Mapping the Margins, Intersectionality, Identity, Politics, and Violence Against Women of Color. And that was 2 years after her original article came out.
Oh, wow.
So she had, the original one came out in 1989, and then she wrote another article in 1991, which was that one where she reiterates the entire definition and what she wanted readers to know about intersectionality.
I do feel like there's a balance between
Almost there.
intersectionality, because I do feel like when it comes to like the workspace, there are certain jobs that fit the criteria of women, and then there are certain jobs that fit the criteria of a male. And when it comes down to certain jobs that are more portrayed for a male, you expect the males to do it. Like you see women doing this, like she shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's just natural for us to think that way. And you know, it's hard for us to live in a world where everybody wants to be equal to every type of job opportunity. You know what I mean? But the reality is that, you know,
we're not.
You're not gonna put a 6'8" big old black dude at the dental receptionist office and like it's gonna scare people. You know, so it's you know, businesses. In regards to rhetoric and persuasive technique, it ties into all that stuff. Like, yeah, we want to make sure we're being open and this and that, but I feel like reality is reality, and rhetoric, all this ties into rhetorical thinking, because even though we see the biases or this and that, we have to. This class is teaching us to look past that, basically.
My own example that I have, personal, is I've always been a trade worker, so I've always loved going into trades without a proper degree. Without a proper degree. The one time that I had to actually go looking for the degree was when I was with Georgia Power. You guys know those steel poles and the wood poles?
Yeah.
So I climbed those.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. The tallest one I climbed was probably 80 to 100 feet. And it's so exhilarating. It was exhilarating. But I did. Okay, so the people that I had working with me, a lot of them, they weren't Georgia Power workers at the time, but a lot of them were very like, hey, you got this, you know, you got this, you can do it. And a lot of other ones were just like, you shouldn't be doing this. I actually had, I love him to death. His name, I'm not gonna mention his name actually, I don't know if I'm proper. But he told me that he loved my attitude. He loved everything about me. He loved, my work ethic. He told me that he told me that if I wanted to, I can switch over. He said he can see me being a receptionist or an office worker. He's like, I feel like that would be more, I want you more over there for us than here. And I'm just like, yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like computers.
Yeah.
I don't like Excel. I don't like PowerPoint. I don't like, that's the thing. I just don't have the work ethic for those types of things. I have the work ethic to actually do something
like
physical.
jobs.
To do something
and that's
physical.
okay, and that's part of what makes us, you know, unique and human, is that you're going to have people that don't look like they can do a such task, and in actuality they can.
We had an instructor. Man was maybe 4'10". 4'10". He was maybe 40 years old, 4'10". On the steel poles, we have the metal connections where you have to climb them up physically. We also had another girl that was in my class when we were training. She was 5 feet, so she was a little taller than him. She could not do it. I think hers was more so fear of actually going up there, because when you actually, start to do it, you get scary. When you see people doing it, when they're like halfway up or when they're all the way up, because those pools get smaller as you go up. Those start moving in the wind.
Yeah, they'll move.
And the funny thing is that you don't feel it. When you're up there, you don't feel it. The one thing
Because you're moving as well.
Yeah, you're
moving as well.
You don't feel it.
You're moving with it.
But that instructor, no problem. He goes all the way up. He comes all the way down. He'll go back up and he'll go back down. Those are up downs. We had to do, and then we had to play football in the air. That was so fun. But yeah. What was the last thing we had to do for this assignment? Was it correlate at all, or do y'all have the paper?
For each item, discuss percent the sources, discuss why each person believes these are particular item readings were assigned to the course, detail how research practice demonstrating your mbongi aligns with the course description.
I feel like we did.
We did?
Yeah.
We just had to do the paper.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would we all like to say our name?
Andy.
Khalifa,
Viviana.
Christopher.
Caleb.
thank you for your time.
Thank you for
today.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's almost like 2 hours video.
I gotta be to work by 9 o'clock.